Hi and welcome. This youth exchange is the first activity of the project No Hate Speech, increasing competencies of young people to use media and theatre-based tools to combat hate speech. It took place in Aarhus from the 14th of May to the 23rd of May 2022. Young people from Denmark, North Macedonia, Latvia, Slovenia, Croatia and Portugal participated. The project is supported by the Erasmus+, the EU's program to support education, training, youth and sport in Europe. It provides opportunities for people of all ages across Europe and beyond. The project aims to empower young people to address online and offline hate speech and to equip the participants of the project by needed competences to do it in their realities and to encourage their peers to join them.
Of the person that you have the name. Only no one is running. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Open one gate.
Really like, okay, a big
Start. Don't know, they didn't know what is laces and the deodorant, so it was a big trouble.
And we became cautious because we are part of the
spread all over the planet, and we grew through everything. Like the shine is from our energy actually, because
We chose the name Red Foxes because of some
your actions online have consequences in your real life.
Yeah.
very good.
That's moving. I am the bus driver, you're going out.
Sit down.
Brigitte, pardon. Here, it will be my assistant. Whatever I say here in class, she would.
As you know, last week our stocks went really low.
Sorry.
Yeah,
but voice is not for
Yeah. What about BURT?
Like and out, you know, we have the same, we have patriarchy here, the tradition, and then
Extreme political ideologies, we also put this.
So our sentence was,
So now is our comment. Now that Trump is a president,
so our sentence is one might.
now that Trump is a president, I'm going to shoot you and all the black I can find. Racism. Okay, we thought about roots because racism is a really wide topic and there have like a lot of reasons. First of all, he could have felt empowered because Trump was elected, so he was like, okay, if Trump said like black people are stupid, I can comment that and I can kill them. Next is history of slavery. Everyone knows that America is pretty famous for that, and maybe he thinks that if back in the day my heritage people treated them like slaves, I can do the same, and I can treat them like slaves and shit. Programming by pop culture, media. We as children, we can see movies where, for example, a black teenage girl starts going in all white American school and she gets made fun of. And as a kid, you think, oh, but that's okay. If like they did it on TV, why cannot I do it? And then you grow up with this idea that, oh, if she looks different, why can I not make fun of her, you know? Then radical nationalism, which is, you know, feeling like your race has to be clean, like black and white marriage or black and white kids are not okay. Personal issues. Maybe the person feels hate inside of them and they need to push it out on someone else so that he feels better. Like, oh, I told you you look ugly today, but I feel ugly. But if you feel ugly, I feel better about that. And some of the consequences, maybe some of you want to talk, I feel like I'm just talking.
Really? What does we have here? Okay, extremization of the society, and the main thing is that the whole unity, the whole social unity, for example, all of the people in the country, the unity is divided because some of them, some people, for example, in this situation with Trump, are for Republicans, not are for Democrats. Some are for this discrimination, are for those votes, and some are not. And this whole thing is like demolishing. Yeah. The second thing is that black people won't feel safe in their place. If a person, this lunatic, this crazy person writes, "I will kill all the black people I can see," you won't feel safe in your home. You won't feel safe in your state, and it is crazy how people can think about that. The third thing is the mirror aggression. If a person, for example, in my opinion, if a person will say me something bad or something like, will push me, I won't stand. I will push him myself. And in this sentence, this is a mirror aggression. A person, for example, a white person, or I don't know, is saying, "I will shoot the black people." If the black people can also say the same
like
thing,
a defense
like
mechanism.
in defense mechanism, right?
It's not a defense mechanism. It's a defense reaction.
Yeah,
kind
of course.
You want to kill me? Okay, I will kill you too.
And the last
See
thing,
who gets who.
yeah. And the last thing is it is encouraging other people to think the same, like propaganda and all of that. So yeah, the roots are really the same in all of our teams, I think, because the problems are really similar, and the consequences are really similar as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, our sentence is, you forgot to mention just how smart the Jews are. Next, they will make a deadly virus to kill all people but the Jews. And what we wrote, it's anti-Semitism. And then we just drew some more roots that come from anti-Semitism. And one of the first roots is fear, which is what it's creating this anti-Semitism. And what is creating fear is the lack of understanding and not really knowing, and like the fear of the other, like these imaginaries that are constructed that are always like separating what is different and creating it as something that is apart from everything else. So in this case, yeah, like the Jews could be the other thing, that it's something that is like unknown, something that is coming to hurt you, and something that is dangerous. So yeah, so it's this construction of these imaginaries. Do you want to continue?
Yeah, sure. So we focus, like you didn't say this yet, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so first of all, we were talking, we split it in two parts. Like first was what she just explained about the fear, but also we focused more specifically on, because of our quote and anti-Semitism that's connected to it, on like historical events. Because we recognize that through history, like there was a lot of propaganda from from Nazis and because of all the religious, economic, and other differences, which all contributed to the feeling that people then had, and that feeling was also fear. So it was totally from total lack of understanding and totally made up lies, not based on facts. The propaganda machine developed these stereotypes, if that's the correct term in this point. So those were all the causes that we debated in depth for anti-Semitism, and then also all of that has consequences. So if anyone wants to talk about the consequences.
Okay, so about the consequences, as we said, it's connected. So we have stereotypes and violence, and we also have spreading hate, making differences, and I'm having trouble reading this one.
You can explain that part because it was this is like the origins of conspiracy.
Oh yeah, that was
like how this can originate.
Okay, yeah. I mean, one of the part of this quote that I thought or we thought was really important was here we have. So the next they will make a deadly virus to kill all people but the Jews. This is clearly like a conspiracy theory. I mean, there are people make something because of the feelings of hate. People make up theories, and with talking around, with telling them around, they get an audience, and that is critical because out of hate come conspiracy theories, and these theories or these feelings then they turn to violence, actual violence. So we thought that was really important part of the quote that we get, so that just to emphasize that where all this comes from.
And as other groups have already said, some of these consequences can be also the roots and the other way around. Mm-hmm. And there are others that, like for example, as nationalism, it can be the root of it, and also this hate can increase nationalism. So it's a two-way road.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, our comment was queers are an abominant and need to be helped to go straight to hell. Okay, it's about... Yes, queers are an abomination and need to be helped to go straight to hell. It's about homophobia. Okay, so should we start?
Yeah, with the roots, we found some more general topics, and we discussed about family, the way people and were raised, and the values of parents, and education, because in some countries there's a lack of education, and it's important to educate. Then we have closed-minded people, insecurities, also fear of the group itself, and also maybe some fears connected to yourself, and you maybe have don't want to express, or you're suppressing something. Religion also, and tradition, traditional values. But I found it funny, just a random comment, that in Greek times, and we all our thinking originates there, and the logic and our argumentation. In the Greek, there were lots of gay people and open people. So through religion, probably it happened to.
Yeah, also in the religion, it's really
We can see it in the religion also, maybe mostly in the monotheistic religions, where probably they teach us that like it's not okay to be gay, like you need to have a husband or a wife or to have children and etc. But there are a lot of monks and nuns which are gay, so it's like really
it's suppressing, like
paradoxical. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we have determination or like also exclusion. So these people are like develop depression also, a fear and sadness, and there being some conflict.
It can trigger conflict between people reading these comments and and bullying.
Yeah, and bullying.
And also discrimination.
And that's all.
That's all. Thank you.
So we had the quote, "Women are like grass, they need to be bitten / cut regularly." And, and this is misogyny. So we discussed a lot about it, and we decided, I think we have to talk all for what we're talking like previously. So the roots of it we think are man empowered. So you want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. So man wants to be empowered. That's why this became a quote. Because women are like grass. That in grass in a garden, let's say, it needs to be pretty, needs to be nice, and it grows. And it grows too tall. It needs to be cut. So that's what
that's
we're
really
thinking here. And
connected.
men are the one that cuts it, because usually men are for working outside, cutting grass and stuff like that. In most countries, I mean that's a stereotype, not my opinion, but Okay.
So you can connect it with our other root, which says shaping and controlling. Because the grass, you control it, you objectify it, so it only looks beautiful and how you want it to look. You don't let it be just grow wild and be itself, be the grass, but you go and interfere and cut it and shape it. And that's what this quote tends to give freedom to man to do, like to cut women like grass, and it's very objectifying. So another thing we had, and I'd like to talk about it, it's connected to Kafka, to childhood trauma and missing model. So I'll give an example. Kafka, maybe you've heard about him. It's a writer of 20th century, existentialism and expressionism. And like he has a book, I think we've all read him because it's mandatory in high school, the trial, but he also has a lot of other stories. And what I wanted to talk about is a letter to his father. And I read the trial, then I got interested in Kafka, and then I went to the library, and then I took everything from Kafka and started reading. And when I found the letter to my father, because he hadn't had the freedom of communicating with his father, so he decided to write down a letter so he could express how he feels. And what he says in a paragraph is a very, very crucial, because he says, I love this woman and I want to marry her and I want to have children, but I'm terrified because I'm going to end up being like you. I don't want to, but I don't have other model. And this is like childhood trauma and missing model. And when you don't have a model and you have such a childhood trauma which is connected with tradition and patriarchy, then you will end up being a victim. You can be a sense like a victim, because you will be in a family which misogyny happens, and then you're going to turn out repeating that and being you the one who victimizes other women. And so we have like consequence of that. We have domestic abuse and violence, and this can be like in a very different levels. Like it can be physical, emotional, psychological, and so on. And you want to talk about the example?
Yeah, the
repetition
tradition.
of tradition.
There are things that I think that most of you know, but a boy goes to interview on a big company, and he's on the parking with his father next to him, and the CEO of the company calls and say, "Hey son, have a good interview. It's all gonna be okay." And but the father is on the car with him. So who calls him? And calls son.
Yeah. So the boy is in the car with his father, and he has done a job interview previously. Then he gets a call and says, "Son, congratulations, you did good and you got the job." So how can? Yeah, exactly.
But no one think about the mother, because a woman cannot be a CEO.
People get confused because think that woman a priori, like it's a priori thing. They think that a woman cannot be a CEO. When you say CEO, you only think of men. It's the same with I wanted to add this one. Yeah, it's same with this consequence here, which says woman cultivating this tradition. And what's happening here? Like I did like a little study, and I studied the lullabies in Albanian. For lullabies, there are lullabies for boys and for girls. And in the lullaby for the boys, it says, "Hush, little baby," in a wooden cradle, so you can grow up and be the first of the village. And then for the woman, it goes, "Hush, little baby," so you get some good sleep, and then you grow up, be pretty, and get married. And the crucial part is that when women continue cultivating this tradition, we have to do some education at this point to empower women, so that they don't repeat and don't cultivate the tradition which says that women are like grass, they need to be bitten, cut regularly. So this is a very important thing to do. But we also had the other things like inferiority complex. Yeah.
Forgot about the inferiority complex. Definitely, it's a cause.
Yeah, to talk about it.
Would you maybe talk about it?
Oh, okay. Okay. So inferiority complex. It's like it's not just like a woman, because we cannot change the world only by educating women, because that's not the only problem. If women need to be empowered, the man should be educated in a sense that they don't have to prove things, because this quote saying women are like grass, they need to be cut and beaten regularly, this shows a will to show power, and the men do have that will, because everyone who has a will to show and convince people that they have power deep inside himself, he has an inferiority complex. And the problem with men is that they have this instinctual need to show power, and that has been cultivated, and that is a very hard pressure. And the man should be educated that they don't have to feel like that like chill down, come on, because if you have inferiority complex, then you have the need to show power, and then you get the woman to fear you, or you turn out being a abuser, or and then because of that, the woman will get low self-esteem. They won't speak for themselves. They will have no freedom of speech for women, and that it's all like connected. It's very complex, but
and if you have a kid, and maybe the education will be repeated.
Yeah,
that's why we talk about tradition.
Yeah, because children teach by are taught by models and examples, and if it's like the Kafka case. If you don't have a model, it's very hard to change and to change yourself, because Kafka says I want to, but I don't know how. I don't know because I don't have, the only model I have is this. So basically, that's all.
Thank you.
You go a bit down, a bit up, cut down.
Yeah?
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
Close
Martina.
the finger a little bit.
Okay.
Finger.
That's good.
Is it good? I don't know. You tell me. Stand up and like
It can be drawing, hiking.
It's not on us to agree. Those are scientific facts. If they
Practice for them. Does this make sense? Other that they needed to take a They try to do a completely alternative type of education.
realized that that was a very wide topic, so we.
That's for us.
Ungdomsradio. 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 Ungdomsradio.